contractors and saddle the taxpayer with enormous costs. Typically, insurers offering workers' compensation pay out as much in claims and expenses as they take in through premiums. The carriers make their real money off of investment returns they earn during the interval between when they receive premiums and pay claims and expenses. This has been the experience of the State Department, USAID, the Corps of Engineers. In fact, the company that won these contracts, CNA, has actually paid out 8% more in claims and expenses than it has received in premiums. But these contracts represent only 10% of the insurance market in Iraq and Afghanistan. 90% of the DBA market is controlled by the Defense Department, and the experience in the DoD market has been completely different. Under the DoD approach, private contractors negotiate with private insurers, but bill the taxpayers for the costs. This arrangement has been exceptionally lucrative for the private insurers and the contractors. Over the last 5 years, the 4 largest private insurers have made underwriting profits of nearly 40%. That's almost $600 million in profits. The LOGCAP Troop Support Contract, the largest single contract in Iraq, illustrates what's going on. As a series of charts will illustrate, I have them on the screen to the right and the left, KBR paid an insurance company, AIG, $284 million for workers' compensation coverage. Since KBR's contract is a cost-plus contract, this $284 million premium, plus a markup for KBR of up to $8 million, gets billed to the taxpayers, bringing the total cost to the taxpayers of $292 million. Out of this amount, just $73 million actually goes to injured contractors. And AIG and KBR pocket over $100 million as profit. Well, this is really disgraceful. The taxpayer is paying nearly $300 million to deliver less than $75 million in benefits to injured contractors. Rube Goldberg could not design a more inefficient way to help employees wounded or injured in Iraq. The Defense Department has argued that the fact that Iraq is a war zone justifies the high costs of the insurance program. But under the Defense-Based Act, the taxpayer, not the insurance company, has to pay the costs when a contractor is wounded in action. The insurance companies only pay for the types of injuries that could occur at any work site. Well, what makes the situation even worse is the people this program is supposed to benefit, the injured employees working for contractors. They have to fight the insurance company to get their benefits. Delays and denials of paying claims are the rule. Audit after audit has said that the Defense Department model doesn't work, but still, the Defense Department won't change. When Congress passed a law in 2006 requiring the Defense Department to rethink its approach, the department reported that it would be too expensive to collect the necessary data and, quote, there are no compelling procurement reasons for DoD to initiate any efforts, end quote. My staff prepared an analysis of the Defense-Based Act, which has been distributed to the members as a supplemental memo, and based on new data from the insurers, it identifies 600 million reasons why the Defense Department should care. That's the amount of the excessive profits that insurance companies have earned at taxpayer expense in just 5 years. And I've asked this memorandum of the documents it cites to be made part of today's record. Without objection, that will be the order. In the course of our hearings into the government waste, fraud, and abuse, we've learned to recognize the recipe for wasteful government spending. And all the key ingredients are here. An obscure federal program, a procurement approach that leaves federal taxpayers, not private contractors, liable for the biggest risks, and officials who ignore warning after warning. We need to stop this flagrant abuse of taxpayers' dollars, and this hearing is an important step in this process. Mr. Davis, I want to recognize you. Mr. Chairman, for holding this hearing on the Defense Base Act Insurance Program. The DBA provides vital insurance coverage for the brave men and women employed by the companies performing critical parts of our government's overseas operations around the globe. This once obscure program has dramatically expanded since 2003, with an unprecedented number of contractors working under wartime conditions, supporting our efforts in both Iraq and Afghanistan. Thousands of contracts and subcontracts throughout the world are subject to DBA insurance requirements. Agencies and their contractors use several models to acquire mandatory coverage. In general, Defense Department contractors purchase DBA insurance on their own and recover their costs under the terms of the contract. In contrast, the Department of State pre-selects one primary insurance carrier to provide the DBA insurance at a fixed rate for all of its various covered contracts. A few years ago, the Army Corps of Engineers launched a pilot program based on the State Department model, and the Corps is here today to discuss that trial effort. Recently, the Congressional Budget Office suggested DoD adopt that single-source method, but that approach may not be a panacea. Efficiencies and cost controls possible at lesser levels of operations may be overwhelmed by the vastly increased scale of the Pentagon's DBA responsibilities, which dwarf those of the state and the Corps, both in size and in diversity requirements. The CBO acknowledged such in an arrangement that presents a number of challenges. It's not clear that any insurance provider would be willing to underwrite DBA insurance for all DoD contractors, or that contractors would be willing to participate on those terms. Concentrating so large a portion of current DBA coverage in the hands of one carrier could have the perverse effect of driving carriers out of the market. The resulting loss of competition risks making it easier to raise rates, and costs of initiating and administering such a centralized DoD-run program could further erode any savings for an increased likely national contract. Mandating a single source for all DoD contractors to obtain this insurance may, in fact, result in economies of scale and lower costs for the insurance in Iraq and Afghanistan, where risks are higher, but it doesn't take into account the myriad places around the globe where federal contracts are performed and the risks are much lower. In those places where operational risks are lower, the cost of DBA insurance will almost certainly go up under a single-source contract. The effect is like pushing on an inflated balloon. If you squeeze the balloon in one place, a bulge has to pop out somewhere else. This is a good opportunity for us to conduct some real oversight of whether we're spending the taxpayers' dollars in the most cost-effective manner. If there's a better, cheaper way to obtain DBA insurance, we need to pursue that route. However, Mr. Chairman, I think it's important we conduct balanced oversight, and that means bearing in mind this program covers thousands of contractors performing work in almost every country in the world. Viewing the entire DBA program through the lens of one audit of one contractor, even if the contractor is KBR, a former Halliburton subsidiary, risks missing the larger picture. The problem appears to be as much of government controls and oversight of this increasingly expensive program as it does with any alleged contractor overcharges. Oversight focused on the general case, not the outlier, is far more likely to yield reforms that lead to meaningful savings. Thank you again, and we look forward to today's session. Thank you very much.